Hello and welcome to the Slingshot Channel. Übrigens, wenn ihr auf der Suche nach dem deutschen Video seid, Link findet ihr unten. Dies hier ist das englische. As you see, I have three completely different containers, like boxes here, and they contain three completely different crossbows that we will try to compare, even though they're so innovative that I don't think that they should be compared. Okay, so we are starting with this little beauty here. This is the Steamboat Onyx crossbow. As you see, it has really wide throwing arms, which has advantages because it automatically means that they're gonna last forever. And also, if you cock it with muscle power, the angle of the string won't ever be very tight. So it's fairly easy to cock it, even though it has 200 pounds of a draw weight, which is quite significant. In any case, what makes it really special is this bottle here. It's a paintball bottle. You can also use CO2 cartridges instead. This one is, of course, refillable. So you can simply connect a hand pump or a compressor or a bottle and use the quick connector here and fill it with like 3000 psi or something. And then you can cock the entire crossbow with this without any muscle energy, just by means of compressed air or CO2 and these two cylinders here. But of course you could still cock it manually. The whole crossbow is available for about $1,500 with naked, and then you still need to have a scope and a bottle, or in a complete set at GoGun.de, where it's 1649 euros, and then you get it together with a bottle, together with a hand pump, and also with a scope. I mounted a scope combination with a red dot here that I found on Amazon just to test it out. We're not selling it, but I can put the link to the Amazon shop down below. Okay, so if I want to shoot with it, first I have to cock it, and this means that first I have to deflate the cylinders here, and I do this with a magic button here. So if I pull on this, it will actually let the air out, and then I can cock it easily without any kind of energy. So it's actually very silent. Okay, first thing I'm now doing is I put it down. I can also do this in front of my chest because it takes almost no effort. And then I grab the string and I can easily pull it into the lock, which really, because there's no pressure in it, it's very easy. The automatic safety is engaged. And now it is important to put in the arrow, just to avoid any empty shots accidentally or something. You actually first put in the arrow before you pressurize the chambers here. So you put the bolt with the single vein that has a different color directed downwards, so that the half moon knock is actually aligned well. All the way until it hits the string. And now comes the magic moment, because I'm pressurizing the system. Wow. Take a look how much tension there now is in the crossbow limbs here. Crazy. And now all I have to do is disengage the safety and I'm ready to fire. Whoa. So the bolt speed is about 330 FPS, and I have to correct myself. The draw weight is 225 pounds, which is roughly 100 kilograms. It has about 100 foot-pounds of energy, which is around, I don't know, 135 joule. So it is very powerful if you keep in mind how easy it is to load it and how quickly that goes. So even if there is not enough pressure in the bottle anymore for one more shot, you can still cock this manually very easily. And for this they actually give you like a cocking aid, which makes it easier, but it is perfectly possible to do this just with your hands because of the low angle of the string in the lock. It's like a champ. So let's go through the loading cycle once again. Okay, a few more details that I find quite clever. First of all, this is an AR-15 rear stock, so it is adjustable, and you can also attach another one if you don't like the model. So you can actually customize it to your personal need. Quite clever. Let's talk about the really wide throwing arms again. So this is really only a disadvantage for transportation. And also, of course, they live a lot longer because they will never be curved that much. On the other hand, during transportation, Steamboat has a huge advantage. Because what you see here, you can see these little rods here. And actually, if you remove those, then you can actually fold the whole thing. Of course, only when the pressure is low. And then you can really transport this very easily, very compact. And even the quiver can be removed, which, by the way, is also included in the package. So now we're looking at the Zubin X340 crossbow. As you see, it's delivered in a fairly big box, and that is mostly empty, just because the crossbow is delivered complete, so the fun can immediately begin. Yeah, and this is what you can expect when you open it. So once you install the scope and the quiver and the stirrup, then the thing is complete and you can start immediately. And this entire process only takes about 5 minutes because it's just 4 screws and this is just clicked in place. So this is the only compound crossbow in the test field. As you see, you have the eccentric cams here, this actually is like a block and tackle system for those of you who don't know what a compound crossbow is. This block and tackle system allows to use much more narrow throwing arms that have a lot of force, but thanks to the block and tackle principle, this actually allows for a very long acceleration path anyway. And also the cams actually are a little bit eccentric. This means that you have one point where you have to overcome the entire 190 pounds of a resistance, but afterwards it gets way easier. So therefore they're also easier to cock than the recurve crossbows. So for cocking the crossbow, the manufacturer, Zubin, recommends using the cocking rope, which makes it a lot easier so everybody can cock it. So let's start with that one. So this is the cocking aid, and what I like is that the rope is fairly thick and also the plastic parts are really thick. And often you get just a very thin string, and I hate that because it's kind of awkward to put those on. This I like. You have this special notch here in the rear stock, which makes it very easy to simply put the cocking rope over the string, and then it's very easy. So this is how the cocked crossbow looks like. As you see, it has the typical very narrow angle here for the in the lock, which is because it's a narrow crossbow. It's a compound crossbow. And the safety automatically engaged. It's actually on both sides. So now it's time to load in the bolt. One of the big differences towards other crossbows is that you can now see that actually there is no groove, because this is a completely encapsulated crossbow. This arrow cannot get out. The only way how it can get out is out to the front through the muzzle of this thing. So it's the safest crossbow in the test field, which I think is also important and has to be pointed out. And now you muzzle load the arrow, and it can only be inserted in one way. And as you see, it's now easy to also attach a hunting broadhead. So let's shoot. I haven't sighted it in, so I just put the scope on and let's hope it's gonna hit anyway. Not bad. Okay, let's now test the second method to cock it, and this is simply put it down and cock it just like a regular crossbow. And now to my favorite method, which simply means put it against my chest and pull with both arms, because that is the fastest way. So even though my target is corona infested, you can see how accurate this crossbow is. I mean, all three basically hit the same spot, and this one is in at a little angle because it no doubts hit the other two. All the three balls actually connect here, and then it slid off and hit a little higher. This is a truly accurate crossbow. What makes this crossbow really special is the ability to shoot lead pellets or steel pellets, now more environmentally friendly, I guess. So there are 1622 caliber lead pellets in these here, and they're held together in this sabot with a little bit of rubber. I love rubber, in case you don't know. And as you see, there is a half moon knock inside here. You load it just like an arrow. Let's see what they can do. We will try to hit this empty spray can, and I put this little box behind to see how the spread of the lead pellets from 10-meter distance will be. I obviously hit it. So as you can see, it was a little bit to the left, and most of the pellets hit like that size target. So the spread is not really wide, but still the can was hit in 3 pieces. I can hear it. So as you can see, several of the pellets hit and have actually penetrated the fairly thick can. So as you see, it's easy to find them because of the bright color. And as you see, they're just identical 2 halves that you can put together, and you can refill this with lead shot that you can buy very inexpensively for like BB guns and so on. And then you put the rubber ring over it again, and then they're as good as new. It has 190 pounds draw weight. But of course it's very efficient because of the compound system. So the compound system makes this so much more efficient than a normal recurve. It's also fairly compact because of that. It is actually the strongest, most powerful crossbow in the test field. Not by far, they're all about the same, but this does about 340 FPS, and that is definitely a little bit more than 100 meters per second, so a little more than 100 foot-pounds of energy, or 140 joules. This means that each one of these lead pellets is hitting the target with about 9 joules of energy, and this means it's about as strong as a normal air gun, but you shoot 16 of those little lead balls at once. And now we are coming to the third crossbow in the test field. It's the Lancehead F1. That's it. As you see, it is very compact and it is ready to shoot in this condition. So you just take it out and it's complete. It has no limbs. I did a full review on this crossbow a while ago and I put the link in, so I'm not gonna start over again. The only thing that I'd like to say is that this spectacularly is narrow. I mean, look at that. Look at how compact this is. It almost feels like a rifle. I totally applaud the amount of innovation that went into this product. This is a $2,000 crossbow. And in Europe, you can actually exclusively buy it from GoGun. It costs 2,500 euros, but that does contain the 19% value-added tax and also the import tariffs, which is about another 5%, plus also the transportation from the US, which is also not cheap, costs actually a few $100s. In any case, for $2,000, you get like the finest components that you could possibly imagine. You get an original Hawk telescopic sight, which alone is worth a few $100s, and then you get a Trigger Tech trigger, which also is very, very expensive. It's like a $300 trigger set, and it has by far the best trigger in the test field. So this is a high-end crossbow for hunting, and actually it is designed so that you can take it to a tree stand. It's super compact, and yes, it takes some time to reload, but that is irrelevant because on a hunt like this you only have one shot. Even if it would take you only 5 seconds to reload, the game would be gone. So reloading time for a hunter is completely irrelevant. This is not a tactical crossbow, and this is not a sport crossbow. This is a hunting tool. In order to cock it, you have to use the original Carbon Express winch that is supplied with the weapon. You cannot cock this manually, you have to use this one. And of course it's a very, very fine product because these are high-end winches that you can also buy for a few $100s separately. Alright, so now the weapon is cocked and ready to be shot. You of course have a safety, but other than that it is fire at will. It really has recoil. Now what you really can see that the power stroke is super long. I mean, that's because of all these block and tackle systems that they put into the string system. Amazing crossbow. The verdict. Let's start with the Lancehead F1. It is the most expensive crossbow in the field, but it's also the most technically advanced crossbow. Highly unique. It is optimized for just one purpose, for hunters shooting from a tree stand or from maybe a bush or something. So it's a hunting crossbow, it's not a tactical crossbow. It is on par in terms of power and accuracy. They're all about the same, about 100 foot-pounds, like 135, 140 joule. So very powerful crossbow. Disadvantage, it takes a long time to reload. It's quite complicated. Advantage, it's just super, super compact. It has the best trigger in the market. It has the best telescopic sight in the entire test field. So I think it is also so new that it has this, I gotta have this factor. And you can get it. $2,000 in the US and 2,500 euros in Europe because of the value-added tax and the import taxes. Alright, now let's look at the Zubin X340. I love that shotgun function, it's so unique. It's also, you know, it's a fire and forget, you don't really have to buy new bolts all the time. In any case, it is the only compound crossbow in the market, which means that there is a little bit higher cost and service maintenance efforts. But on the other hand, it is also very compact. And it is the strongest crossbow in the test field. although not by a huge margin, all about the same. I love the encapsulated arrow thing here, which makes it so much more safe. It has disadvantages, like for example, it has a fairly cheap scope, but for that price, I mean, come on, it's not a lot of money. All in all, I think it's a very, very, very good package. Now the Steamboat Onyx. I love that pump me up baby feature, because actually you could actually take this you know, and put it next to your bedstand where legal. So the arrow is already in, but the crossbow is totally safe because it's not cocked yet. There is no tension on the string. And therefore, just all you have to do is press on this button and then it's ready to be shot. So I think this is a very unique feature. It's also totally sturdy. I think it is fairly unbreakable. It is a little bit heavy, and of course it's not cheap, but if you imagine that it's like €1,000 cheaper than the Excalibur package, which has about the same kind of performance, I think it's still a smoking deal. And innovation is very high. It's also perfect for disabled hunters that want to do crossbow hunting but can't really cock a powerful crossbow anymore. So, all in all, I think a very, very, very good product. Well done, boys. So, I hope you like this, because that's it for today. Thanks and bye-bye.